The Obstacle is the Way. The Timeless Art of Turning Trials into Triumph by Ryan Holiday. Who would think a Roman emperor from the 2nd century AD would have advice for entrepreneurs today? Who would think that a 19-year-old would find in this emperor's writing a philosophical approach that would change his entire life? Well, Ryan Holiday, author of The Obstacle is the Way, is the young man, and Marcus Aurelius is the emperor, and both have a message that might give you the edge in business endeavors as well as other aspects of your life. Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic, and Ryan Holiday resonated with some of the ideas of Stoicism immediately and applied them widely. Stoicism is based on the premise that, while we don't control everything that happens in our lives, we do control our responses. Stoicism is known for the idea of turning the obstacle upside down, or as Marcus Aurelius wrote, an impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This actually became something of a maxim for the Stoics and for Holiday himself. Holiday breaks the ideas into 3 disciplines: perception, action, and will, and gives historical examples of what each looks like as several key historical figures confront challenges and use the discipline to build their resiliency, solve problems, and ultimately overcome. Perception. Perception is how you look at or see the things you face. Stoics suggest that what you face is neither good nor bad in itself. These are established by your own perception of the situation. The goal is objectivity in judgment. Holiday uses John D. Rockefeller as an example of Stoic perception and analyzes where it got this man. Rockefeller was only 16 years old and living in Ohio in 1857. Even at this young age, he was having success and was an aspiring investor when the Panic of 1857 hit. The panic began in Ohio and spread throughout the nation, causing a several-year economic depression. It looked bad for Rockefeller. Or did it? Rockefeller decided this was an opportunity to learn from the market when it was at its absolute worst, and apprenticeship in difficulty. Interestingly, Rockefeller ended up capitalizing on horrible markets for the rest of his life, and within 20 years he owned about 90% of the world's oil market, as well as much more. General Dwight D. Eisenhower is another example of a man with Stoic perception. As U.S. troops were struggling after the amphibious landing at Normandy during World War II, he is quoted in the book as saying to the assembled group of officers, "The present situation is to be regarded as opportunity for us and not disaster." And indeed, with that attitude, they saw a way to turn the tables and trap the Nazi forces, creating what became known as the Falaise Pocket. The discipline of perception is useful in business situations as well as in your private life. If you look at something as a disaster, you will function in disaster mode, perhaps feeling paralyzed or, at best, capable of only trying to pick up the pieces. But if you see the challenge as an opportunity, your mind becomes more open to seeing actual solutions and even new horizons that open through the challenge. Thus, the right perception can take the focus off seeking who to blame, justifying your own mistakes, or drowning in your own anxiety and depression. It can instead move you to a place where you can actually build a solution and contribute to your resiliency for the future. Action. The second discipline is action, your response to the challenge at hand. The goal is to be unselfish in your response. Outside of self-focus, you are more able to respond with creativity, ingenuity, and persistence. Holiday uses the example of Ulysses S. Grant as he continued to fail to gain Vicksburg and control of the Mississippi River for the Union during the Civil War. Try after try failed, but Grant persisted, saying, "I propose to fight it out on this line if it takes all summer." The words show Grant's persistence, but could lead you astray. He is persistent, but not stuck in a rut. The general tried one creative maneuver after another until finally coming up with the unheard-of strategy to leave Vicksburg, cut his supply lines, and take the capital to the east, Jackson, Mississippi. Then his forces returned, and from the other direction set up the siege of Vicksburg, finally capturing Vicksburg as they were essentially trapped in their own fortress. You can expect that facing a particular challenge may take not one, not two, but multiple tries to overcome. The value of persistence in action is that you stick with it long enough to finally get the solution. The global pandemic has placed obstacles in the way for schools, businesses, and health providers. While the obstacles seem insurmountable, persistence is the only way to turn the disaster into something that has value. Will. Holiday suggests that will is the most important discipline. Will essentially controls our response and our action. Will is like a muscle that can be strengthened with exercise. Yet for the will to move forward, it must accept the current circumstances, what fate has dealt, and be ready to move on without taking it personally or being brought down by it. His example of firmness of will in the face of a fateful event is Thomas Edison, who, at age 67, found out his factory with all his notes and inventions in it was burning. Unbelievably, as Edison is watching it go up in flames, he commands his son to go get his mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again. Edison embraces fate without judgment or emotional engagement. Actually, because of all his chemicals, it was an impressive sight, but the building was uninsured and he basically lost everything. Yet he was not daunted. He saw it as a positive because such a challenge prevents a man from being afflicted with ennui. And in reality, he was seemingly invigorated by the event, moving forward at record pace, taking a loan from Henry Ford to rebuild, and continuing to work and invent until his death. Throughout the book, Holliday is aware of the variety of obstacles his readers face, and he tries to make the Stoic disciplines applicable. As a business and marketing expert himself, Holliday believes these disciplines will benefit entrepreneurs as they face obstacles in the business world, but he is also aware of personal obstacles, perhaps emotional and mental in nature, and he is certain that the disciplines of perception, action, and will can help you overcome. The book is very inspiring, and you will find his numerous historical examples of these disciplines engaging. He closes with another quote from Marcus Aurelius that he feels sums up the Stoic disciplines as valid then as they are now. Objective judgment, now at this very moment. Unselfish action, now at this very moment. Willing acceptance, now at this very moment. Of all external events. That's all you need.